Fantasy Footballers Sunday Live.
What's up, everybody? Woo, dog! It's week one. It's week one for fantasy football. It's week one for the NFL. And I'm already thoroughly destroyed. How's everybody else doing? You know, what a great day. What a great morning. Hey, we've already had a ton of action happening since we got the extra Friday game. This won't be the place for the reactions to that, but simply action is happening. And the Sunday morning woke up and said, you know what, Thursday and Friday, hold my beer because we're about to get absolutely nuts. So welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have never been to a Sunday Live, a party, this is how it works. Which I'm talking to myself right now. I got to remember how to do this show. But we take a look at the big picture because news is pretty much the most important thing that's going on right now to make those late start-sit decisions to pivot our faces off. And there's a lot to talk about. Then we will jump into questions. The website. We have a start-sit tool over there, which you can go plug in, player A versus player B, and we'll give you some reasoning of why we have this person projected a bit higher or a bit lower. We track those because then we want to see who are the hot players, who are the trending players. So we take a look at those, the really hot players. I'm pretty sure I can guess who some of them are going to be for week one. And then we will jump into your questions directly from you, from all the socials. So thank you for joining me. Oh, my goodness gracious. This news. Let's get into it.
The big picture.
All right. Somehow, some way, Jamar Chase may not be the biggest news point of the day. We're going to start at the quarterback position. Russell Wilson is out. He is dealing with a calf problem. Justin Fields is in. When Justin Fields plays football, he scores fantasy points. I'm still trying to dial in exactly where I want him ranked. So he will be fluctuating, I'm guessing, all the way until game time. But as of right now, I mean, him getting into the top 10 seems like that'll be a really easy thing for him to accomplish, at least for my projections. So like the big guys at the top, I'm not starting Fields over them. So, Allen, I was going to say Hurts, but he already played. Allen, Stroud, Richardson, Goff, Kyler, and then when you get into the range of like Tua, who should be fantastic today, but he has his own little news blurb linked to him as well. But so I think that right around there is where I will really start thinking about what does my team need for Sunday morning to get that victory. So Justin Fields is playing. It doesn't really move the Steelers for me. Like, he will focus on George Pickens. He's going to run a lot. The Steelers are going to try to establish the run. It's going to be really exciting to see what Arthur Smith thinks of Justin Fields actually being out there and being the starter. How much does he let him throw? So that is TBD. At the running back position, Antonio Gibson, he popped up late for an injury on the injury report for the Patriots. He's going to play. Jalen Wright for Miami is a healthy scratch. Jeff Wilson is in, so that's at least something to monitor. A reminder, Devon Achane was a healthy scratch last year, week one. So this is not bail on Jalen Wright should you be in deeper leagues. Christian McCaffrey, I don't know why the news has to be being reported the way it is. Look, he is listed as questionable. Remember, probable tags don't exist anymore. He certainly seems like he would have been tagged as probable. He's expected to play. It's Monday night. That's pretty brutal because Tyler Conklin is probably your only backup pivot option, but I am moving forward like Christian McCaffrey is playing. At the wide receiver position, Tyreek Hill had himself a morning. Apparently stopped by the police. Not a great situation. We have essentially no information on what occurred for the incident, but it did happen, and yet he is going to play. You know, his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, was very quick out there to say, Tyreek Hill's going to play. He'll be there. So that's not changed. Tyreek Hill is in. So DeAndre Hopkins, he is in. He's actually going to play. Keenan Allen, who was dealing with a heel problem, he is going to play. Jamar Chase, he's going to play. He's going to play. I mean, people are out there making their best guess because, honestly, that's what it is. With Jamar Chase, it is your best guess. There is no real hard information. I just saw Ian Rappaport saying 20 to 30 snaps. It sounded like Ian Rappaport's guessing. Like, I'm sure that the flow of the game could dictate how much Jamar Chase actually plays. Is he in football shape? I don't know. Is it just third down, red zone? We put Jamar Chase out there. I don't know. As of right now, let me see. I have Jamar Chase. I bumped him down. So it's that, like, Michael Pittman is sitting right in front of Jamar Chase for me right now, which is – so he's sitting at wide receiver 18, which for the majority of leagues, that's still a start. He's still Jamar Chase. He's still one play away from making your fantasy week a success. So for the most part, Jamar Chase is in. Maybe you ended up with some insane team at the top, but for the majority, he's going to play for me. You know who won't? T. Higgins. Thank you, T. Higgins, in your hamstring. He will not be playing. Josh Downs of the Colts, he remains out, healing up. Roman Wilson for the Steelers is out, as is A.T. Perry. Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks, he is expected to play. He is an afternoon game, though, so you have to pay attention to that. Brandon Ayuk, we did get a report that he could be on a snap count because, like Jamar Chase, you know, he didn't really get much of training camp in there. Got that shmoney, but we'll see if it affects him being out on the field. The Brandon Ayuk is – I'm more confident in his snaps than Jamar Chase, so that's how I'm gauging things. Look, hey, Dak Prescott got that money. Got that money, boys. Oh, my goodness, did he get that money. Jerry Jones, you rapscaling, you got him again. You got him. You caused all this hullabaloo and then gave your player exactly what they wanted. I can't get into Jerry Jones right now. I'll get too mad. All right, Jeremy, is the computer all fired up and ready? That's good. That button still works. Here we go.
He's so hot right now.
All right, he's so hot right now. Like I said, on the website we have our rankings. You can go grab those right now. They are completely free. If you support this show at jointhefoot.com, that start-sit tool, it expands from 2 players to 4 players. It also can get you access to our brand-new tool, the Ultimate Dashboard, an extra show, an extra podcast with just your questions every single week, a whole bunch of cool stuff, access to Discord channels. And Papa Josh is in the house too. The Discord is absolutely just firing off on all cylinders right now. He's nodding his head in approval.
It is absolutely popping.
So if you want to be a supporter, check that out. Jointhefoot.com. You can see all the different ways that you can get involved with the show and all of the perks, which there are many. Very, very proud of them. But anyways, Start-Sit tool. It's available on thefantasyfootballers.com. Jeremy, Al Borland, who's trending?
Yes, sir. Morning. So at the running back position, Jerome Ford is a very popular player to be asked about. We're going to start there with Jerome Ford or Najee Harris.
Whoo! Okay, so Jerome Ford gets to take on Dallas. He is at home. Jerome Ford last year was just he was a steady Eddie. I mean, like, he wasn't winning you weeks, but he was helping your team far more often than not. Najee Harris, I guess the question for Najee Harris is, now that it is Justin Fields for sure, does he get a bump up in volume? Do they try to hide Justin Fields? I think that is an option. But I also think that there is a strong possibility that Najee, Warren, Cordero Patterson, that this thing is just a bit of a mess. So, and at this point, Najee's not like a special talent. So this isn't a guy where even if he's sharing, you're like, oh, no, I think that it can really happen. So because of the play, I see these players, in the they're just good running backs in that area. I'm going to go with the volume for Jerome Ford. Obviously don't love the matchup against the Cowboys, but I'm going to go with Jerome Ford there. Just chase a workhorse running back as opposed to what could be a 3-person timeshare. Maybe give it time to percolate so you can see what happens in Pittsburgh. What do we got?
Okay, what about Jerome Ford versus Javonte Williams in Seattle?
Oh, that's Javonte. Javonte is my start of the week. This backfield, I think, will be a heavy dose of him, and then Julio McLaughlin will be spelling. But I expect that Javonte is going to catch a bunch of passes. I think that he will see true volume. Now, is Javonte back to being a special player? That part I don't know. I need actual game footage to start making a better educated decision about is Javonte back or not. But removal of Samaje Perine and his 50-plus receptions, I think that Javonte is in a very good spot. I'll go with him.
Okay, staying on Javonte then for a second. We got a lot of people asking Javonte or Ramondre Stevenson.
So Ramondre, he is on the road against the Bengals. Antonio Gibson is active. I have been, less bullish, also called bearish, on Ramondre. If only there was a word for when you're not bullish on Ramondre. This New England offense, I think it could be rough. The big question comes down to when they're losing this game, because the probability is on that side. It's the NFL, crazy stuff happens. But I would be taking the Bengals in this game. So when they're trying to catch up, is it still all Ramondre? Or is it all of a sudden Gibson's out there for the 2-minute drill when they're trying to hurry up, when they're in when they're in forced passing situations, does it become Gibson? Because that would be a huge problem for Ramondre. So I'm not saying I'm completely out on him at this point, but Javonte Williams would be my play. Jason Moore has snuck in the bag. Are you with me on that one with Javonte? Yeah, I got 2 thumbs up. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page. Yes, Javonte over Ramondre. Who's next?
All right, moving over to the wide receiver position, would you start Deontay Johnson or Calvin Ridley?
What? How is this a big question already? Well, Hopkins is in, but Hopkins is just returning from that, I think, the knee injury, which, he missed a considerable amount of time. Between Calvin Ridley and Deontay Johnson, oh my goodness gracious. My gut instinct is right away, it's Calvin Ridley, but I want to actually think about it. So Deontay Johnson is on the road against the Saints. I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley. Maybe you're in a PPR and you're looking at your particular lineup and you're like, if I get 5 for 50, then that's what my team needs right now. Because Deontay Johnson won't be big plays. Like, it's still going to be the normal stuff of he just is a good wide receiver, catches a lot of passes. Will the Panthers score a bunch of points against the Saints on the road? I'm not really into that, so I'm going to let that dictate. I'm going to start with Calvin Ridley, and if Andy were in this room right now, I'm sure he would be screaming, of course you're starting Calvin Ridley. Who's next?
All right, sticking with Calvin Ridley, him or Terry McLaurin? He's playing in Tampa Bay.
Right. So Terry McLaurin's got himself a very good matchup. It's a rookie quarterback's first game. Not that stopped Cam Newton from putting up 400-something yards in the Arizona Cardinals a billion years ago. I lean. Man, that one's really tough. I lean Terry McLaurin right now. I'd rather play against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like, they're both on the road. Calvin Ridley's in Chicago. And the Chicago defense is, to me, it is on the rise. Man, I hate trusting the rookie for week 1, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to put Terry McLaurin out there ahead of Calvin Ridley. Do we got anybody else who's hot?
We do. We have a lot of Brian Thomas Jr. questions.
Of course we do.
We will start here with Brian Thomas or Joshua Palmer.
Okay, that I think that's a very fair question. Let's see. So Joshua Palmer he's playing the Las Vegas Raiders, and man, I'm trying to. Oh my gosh, that's such a difficult one. I think that Joshua Palmer is going to surprise. He was very good against the Raiders the last 2 games. Obviously, that is kind of ancient history now with how much turnover has actually happened. I'm going to play Palmer there. I'm going to give it away. Who am I talking? Palmer or Brian Thomas Jr.? The rookie against Miami. The Ramsey is playing, right? Did I see that? Yeah. So I guess Ramsey could be a little bit limited. I don't know if Ramsey's going to be shadowing, a rookie, or if they're going to put him on Gabe Davis or anything like that. I'm struggling because these guys are literally back-to-back in my rankings. I have Palmer 1 spot ahead, and I'm going to it's matchup versus a player who I think is I know Josh Palmer's good. We think Brian Thomas is good. I'm going to play Palmer. I'm going to be a little it's a little cowardice to play Palmer here, so I don't mind the pivot to Brian Thomas, but if I were making the decision, I'd go with Palmer.
All right. People seem to have their tight end position pretty much figured out, so we'll blitz this real quick. Taysom Hill or Jake Ferguson or Pat Freiermuth. Go ahead and rank those 3 guys.
Okay, so the Muth is at the bottom for me. Hey, congratulations to Pat, who he just got his own shmoney. Happy for you, man. But I am concerned about the usage that they were showing us to start the year. What does the timeshare really look like? Again, just because we like to follow the money, of course. It is often a very strong signal. But for Freiermuth, I think the signal might just be that he's a great all-around player, not necessarily that he's going to be a focal point for the offense. Taysom Hill, that one is going to feel scary, putting a not full-time player in there. But I'm going to rank them Ferguson at the top, then Taysom, and then the Muth at the bottom.
All righty. And then getting into the quarterback position, are you starting Joe Burrow or Justin Fields?
Yeah, I figured that question was going to come up. And right now it's Justin Fields. Joe Burrow, like the Patriots, could their defense, rise from the ashes? That's TBD. But T. Higgins is out. If Jamar Chase is actually limited on snaps, I mean, he's playing with a cast of characters that this is going to be a ragtag crew out there, seeing if anyone can actually get it done for the Cincinnati Bengals. So I'm playing Fields. I'm going to go for that upside there.
Okay, what about Fields versus Jaden Daniels?
So Jaden Daniels, when I was going through those names at the top, I intentionally left Jaden Daniels out because I wasn't quite sure how I felt totally about those 2 players. As of, again, right now, Fields is going to be in flux. He will be moving throughout this process as we're getting into towards kickup. Right now, Jaden Daniels is a couple spots ahead of him. And Daniels is playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think I'm going to end up with Fields higher. That is extremely tough. Same archetype of player. One guy we have seen when he's on the field, his points per game are absolutely legendary. Talking about Justin Fields. Like when I draft Jaden Daniels, I'm drafting Jaden Daniels because I hope that he gives me fantasy points like Justin Fields. So if Fields is actually starting today, which he is, I'm going to go with Fields. I'm going to make that swap. I'm going to boost Justin Fields into my top 10 with the hardest decision being him or Tua. Like that is a coin flip for me. But Jaden Daniels, I'm going to start the vet over the rook.
Okay, 2 more, then we'll get to the people real quick. Staying on Jaden Daniels, are you starting him or the newly loaded pockets Dak Prescott?
Dak Prescott. Man, the Dak matchup is bleak on the road against the Cleveland Browns. It is not where you want to be. Oh, gosh. It's hard to ignore that money. That lift. That's narrative street. But when a man walks into a room knowing that he's going to make an extra $60 million a year, that dude's going to have some pep in his step. I need to move Dak up in my rankings looking at this. But I think at the end I would end up playing Jaden Daniels. I'm gonna chase that Konami code of the rushing upside, hoping that Jaden Daniels gives me the 40+ on the ground, and maybe you get something like a Lamar game that we just saw with over 100 rushing yards.
All right, and last one I've seen in the chat quite a bit here: Kyler Murray or Jared Goff.
Kyler Murray or Jared Goff. I'm going to go with Jared Goff, the Dominator at home. He is my start of the week at home versus the Rams. He is a couple spots above Kyler Murray for me, and that one's that's a tough one to rank for this week, but I just have just supreme confidence in the Lions that it's going to be a high-scoring game where the Buffalo one should, but I think we're all in agreement that one just the sniff test of that game is like, I think that the Cardinals can pull it off, and if they pull it off, it's because they're managing to hold the score down at least a little bit. So I'm going to go with Jared Goff. That one's wild, but here we are.
All right, let's get to the people, Mike.
All right.
Stardom, set 'em.
All right, this one's from Caesar. I got to start with it because it's just nasty, and it's talking about titanium underpants. It is Zach Ertz, my gross start of the week, or Cole Kmet. I'm going to go with Zach Ertz over Cole Kmet. All right. Next question here is Jonathan says, Ayuk or Singletary? That is a age-old question of the talent versus absolute pure volume. Singletary should be in a workhorse situation, but I think Brandon Ayuk is going to be out there more often than not. I'm not overly concerned or overly updating my ranks based off of maybe he doesn't play a full game. Like maybe he doesn't, but I'm going to take Brandon Ayuk, and I think at the end when they're playing the Jets, they're really going to need Brandon Ayuk. Ooh, Tyler, Jamar Chase or Malik Neighbors? Oh my goodness gracious. I still have Jamar ranked higher than Malik Neighbors, but I don't mind taking the mental health approach of that Malik Neighbors is going to be on the field a ton. He has to be the focal point for the New York Giants. So I don't mind that switch, but for my rankings, and if I had him, I would probably end up playing Jamar Chase. Next question here. Let's go. The podcast starts tomorrow. Says Bonjour, Goff or Daniels. I'm playing Jared Goff in that situation. Let's see. Jason says Mostert or Ford. Half-point PPR. I'm playing Mostert there. The split between Achane and Raheem Mostert is one of the more fascinating things that we're going to watch. Of their rookie Malik Washington he's out with an injury, and that could force a situation where the Miami Dolphins are playing two running backs a good amount, like putting Devon Achane into the slot and things like that, leaving Mostert to be the running back. So I'm going to go with Mostert there. Next question, searching. We got a Frank says Calvin Ridley or George Pickens. I'm not scared of George Pickens because of the switch to Justin Fields. Big plays are the name of the game for George Pickens and the name of the game for Justin Fields, honestly. Like when DJ Moore was getting it done last year, it wasn't because he's just overwhelming people with insane volume. It's broken plays, and then DJ Moore is so fast and Fields is so fast that they just make it happen for a big play down the field. So I'm gonna go with Pickens on that one. That was a tough decision. Let's see. Crumbs says Zach Moss or Chuba Hubbard. All right. I like that one a lot. Chuba against the Saints. Oh, man. Moss against the Patriots. I think I'm going to go with Moss. I'm going to go with Moss in that direction. Checking on the time. I'll try and blitz a couple here. Christian Kirk or Keon Coleman at flex in a PPR. I know we're nervous about Kirk, but I think I'd still throw him out there over that situation. Tank Dell or Calvin Ridley in a full PPR. I'm going to take Tank Dell this week against the Colts. And then we will get out of here on this one. Let's see. Tony Pollard or Brian Thomas Jr. So that one is if I need a big bada boom, then I'm gonna go with Brian Thomas and hope something happens. Otherwise, I'm gonna stick with Tony Pollard. So that is gonna do it. Thank you so much for everyone joining us for Sunday Live, Week 1. Again, don't overthink Week 1. Get your studs in there. Get the guys you drafted to play for you. It's just Week 1. Take a breath. Enjoy the football. Goodbye.